I think we're going to see growth in the tooling industry for one. I think we're going to continue to see growth in medical as you get to more application-specific or user-specific, patient-specific applications. Defense is calling on us. AMUG as a users group has been around for 35 years, and a big work for us is to ensure that we're still developing, creating a relevant conference for the user community that they want to come. We want them to feel like they desire to be there, not that they have to be there. So ensuring that we're finding relevant content, trustworthy speakers, workshops for hands-on, places where they can learn and do together amongst other users in AM. New people are really looking to gain from experiential learning, from those that are experienced or hands-on learning. Our more seasoned users are looking to continue to interact. Maybe here, sometimes the new users have fantastic ideas that the seasoned user has been doing something for so long that there's this wonderful learning in both directions. So the user group still seems very relevant, which we're very proud of. We work very hard for that. The challenges of the users, how we're responding? Well, one thing that we really do is create connectedness. Sometimes the board of AMUG can answer the questions. Sometimes it is more responsible to give it to another user, so creating that bridge to draw people together. Sometimes it's outside of their vertical usage. You can have great learnings. A medical person can learn wisely from an aerospace. So we continue to create an opportunity. AMUG is structured around learning and networking as our primary goal. So that's a great avenue to ascertain that. Yeah, you're right. That's a resounding problem everywhere, whether in industry or industry events. I think creating an opportunity for users to safely ask questions and knowing that they're going to get relevant answers from, again, an evidence-based learn, as opposed to what they're reading or watching on YouTube. We also create trainings. We have ASTM that does certification trainings. SME has provided trainings for us before. We also do hands-on workshop where then you're committing muscle memory. You're not just on a PowerPoint receiving information, but when you start using your body, you're going to commit more to memory. Yeah, I think some consolidations happen for a broader scope of offering. I think some consolidations happen for monetary reasons. I think so long as we are being responsible with our delivery to grow the industry, more than we're looking to grow our pocketbook, if that can continue to be our ambition by way of education and network, then we are already contributing to the success of where a consolidation can be impactful to the user community that is serving the industries that have a specific need for parts on demand. Yeah, we're hearing a lot of that at AMUG, and I have to admit to you that I am a student in that. I don't have firsthand experience. Where I'm hearing some conversations happen are in medical. You can have a talk about muscle memory for ourselves. You can train in learning. So if you're doing patient-specific applications where you're segmenting an MRI data or a CT data, if there's some memory in the AI how to use that, maybe you can respond quicker to a surgeon's need because it isn't one person segmenting all of those slices. If you're in machine learning for machining, say, an additive part, and you have developed AI that then trains, if we see this feature, we know how to machine that, we being the machine, know how to machine that. So I think AI is going to come in. Where the challenges might be are in ITAR information, HIPAA information. How do we ensure that we still have integrity of protectiveness around data? Is it some standard of how we scrub that data so that no confidential information is released in that? I don't know how that works. Again, I'm a student here as it comes to AI. Industry standards are a high topic, and it's kind of a balance. I think standards are great because then you're not making emotional decisions. This part is good enough, but is it good enough for the next application? So I think those emotional decisions get whittled down as their standards. You have to meet these particular compliances. At the same token with standards, we don't want to stifle creativity because there's such a tight box around this freedom of design. So I think that's a balance of the standards people. I just had a conversation with ASTM today. Their additive team is now up to 50 people. So they're branching out and really realizing where their applications are. So I think there's absolute necessity and wonder in having them. and in a responsible way that we're not stifling the creative minds and kind of the benefits of an additive solution in manufacturing. Yeah, that could go both ways. The additive answer is it depends. I think for some industries, the hype is kind of past and we're in full adoption, medical, aerospace. For something like the firearm industry, that's very much in the hype. Everyone's chasing suppressors now, and as one who manufactures suppressors, there's a lot of interest and they're in this super hungry information gain. So that's industry relevant, I'd say. I think we're going to see growth in the tooling industry for one. I think we're going to continue to see growth in medical as you get to more application specific or user specific, patient specific applications. Defense is calling on us. I think we've proven to the defense market that additive is a viable solution for critical applications. So I think they're getting more creative now and giving us more opportunity to be impactful. Materials are guiding that. We're seeing more in silicones. We're seeing more in ceramics. Our library of metals are growing. The thing about additive is you're in this library confinement, but the more successes that users have and they start raising their hand and say, I'd really love to have it now in this material, they're answering that call. And it really is a beautiful thing of listening and partnering with the cell and the user. I love that you asked that, and that is a true benefit of the users group because it's there in a non-confrontational, unapologetic way of sharing. My favorite presentations are the failure presentations. How did you fail? What did you do to remedy it? How long did it take? I think in that you make people who are currently failing on an application feel less like an island. So giving people a safe space to say, we didn't do that well, but this is how we recovered, or we're still looking to recover, that's an okay answer too. So the users coming together to identify with one another, they're not there to sell to each other, they're there to create an education and a network to lean on. I think the events create an atmosphere of what you're looking for. I think Rapid is unique in that it is commercially driven. There's a lot of things you can see here. It's open to anyone. AMUG has the confinement that you have to be an existing user of additive technologies, where this is a place where you can come and learn and talk to the users. So the realm is different, the population is different, albeit still relevant, and the collaboration between us to ensure that we are our own entity, yet still very much holding hands with one another for the sake of the industry is an important aspiration we should always keep straight in front of us. I don't think AMUG is doing anything to help them start a new business, but creating some lessons learned. So we create a place where you can come and ask those questions. How do you swiftly act towards this? What are the important things if I'm going to develop a new contract manufacturer? You go, you talk to one that might tell you about safety. You talk to one that might tell you about ancillary equipment. Talk to one that might tell you about operational requirements to bring in that additive. That's the one central location where you can have all of those conversations inside of 4.5 days. Yeah, I would say one success very evident is Carbon with their silicone lattice. They made a fast drive on that, starting, I think it started with sneakers, but now they're doing sneakers, bicycle seats, helmet inserts, and they chose that as being a chase for them for what their customers are. They have something very special in that solution, and they know it. And they know it because there's evidence of success, and they're really working for other areas that can go to. I think that was brilliant. More people trying, more people succeeding. Again, as we talk about just the materials envelope, if we're happy enough with what we have, because we're not trying anything new outside of that library, why would the powder or resin manufacturers create anything more? So I think the more chances we're taking on utilizing additive, the more successes we're reporting, and the more beckoning to the companies to give us more so we can be successful beyond the current applications, I think is what's going to grow that. Yeah, I think the user community is growing. I think more and more people are learning additive. We're seeing more influx of universities creating knowledge, but I think the knowledge is really ascertained on the shop floor of places, and having venues like this or an AMUG where people can continue to gather together to share best practices, to share fails, to share triumphs. I think that will continue to advance us. And I was chatting on the stage, we were all talking about a beckoning from the government with the question of how do you produce at scale? And as they go to the different organizations, we're all answering it exactly the same from different bodies, different humans. And I love that because someone who is inquiring, who is getting level answers, no matter which corner they turn to, has to be reassuring. Even if it's not the answer they hoped to hear, how settling it must feel to know that we don't have one answering here and there, and then what can they believe? So I love the unity, and I think that comes from because we are starting to talk and meld together in collaboration, still in our own autonomous lanes of what we're trying to do, but the community is talking and learning, and it helps us have a unified answer outwardly, and that is critical.